Not only am I surviving the battle against my diagnosis of bipolar disorder, I am thriving in the battle versus my diagnosis of bipolar disorder. There was a time when this disorder seized control of my life. The myriad of delusions and hallucinations I experienced during a 6 month long manic episode with psychosis disrupted my life on a massive scale and presented a plethora of life altering consequences. I lost my full time job. I lost my education. I lost my friends. I destroyed relationships with family. I embarrassed myself. And in the aftermath of this, I experienced so much fear, doubt, and shame. And these are feelings that I experienced for years on end. That manic episode was so profoundly traumatic. And I'm truly blessed to have survived and made it to the other side of not just that manic episode, but also to the other side of the depressive episode that followed it. The depression can be just as bad, just as dangerous as the mania. The mania was a nightmare. The depression was more like an indictment. It was the consequence I felt. It was the product of the mania. Without the mania, I don't think I would have fell into that deep state of depression because the catalyst for that depression were the embarrassing actions that I had taken during that mania that were so deeply hurtful to myself. And so I'm in a position now where I have college right around the corner. I'm going to be returning to school again. If that goes well, maybe I could go back into the workforce. I already have to some extent. I worked 7 months as a shift lead at a pharmacy retail chain, and that was huge for me. It was a magnificent milestone because I thought that my life was over as I knew it. I thought that I would never even leave the house again. And it started off with just small little steps. I would go outside at 4 in the morning to go to Honeydew, which, yes, in my area is open at that time, thankfully. And it started off with something as simple as ordering a blueberry iced coffee and then walking home. And that was my going outside for the day. That was my task for the day. And I achieved it right at the beginning of the day. And it made me feel good about myself. And it was a tough challenge at first because of all the anxiety that I had built up from the years I spent inside just putting on weight, not just physically, but mental weight, weights on my mental health that really weighed me down. Meanwhile, my actual weight just went up and up and up. And so I've been able to really transform my life these last few years. Even though I'm not in the desired physical shape I like to be in, mentally, I'm thriving for the first time in years. For the first time in years, I'm actually forward thinking and excited about the prospects that the future holds. I'm going to be returning to college. I could be the first one in my family to graduate from university. That would be huge. It would mean the world to me. It would really put me at the apex of the world's tallest mountain if we're to have a metaphor of where it would put me. It would put me that high up. Bipolar disorder in particular, life in general, is full of highs and lows. And presently, I'm actually kind of in like a stable high. I'm not like astronomically high, but I'm stable high. And that's a safe, comfortable place to be because life is tough, but it's still good. Nothing is going to go perfectly, and that's perfectly okay. I'm not perfect, and I'm perfectly all right with that. I'm just happy about where I am. I'm so proud of how far I have come. If you watch the earlier videos on my channel, particularly in the bipolar breakdown playlist that I have, where I have enumerated over 80 plus videos in that playlist, look at some of the first ones I posted and compare my mental state in those videos to the mental state that I have today. And the reason I made those videos back then is not really any different than the reason I'm making videos now. My goal is to inform as many people as possible about the condition of bipolar disorder, to try to motivate as many people as possible in general, and to try to inspire a sense of confidence and action into others, to instill motivation into others to achieve their own individual goals that they have set out for themselves in their own lives. I feel like I finally have a purpose again. The very powerful and dangerous words, "I am a failure," once consumed my mind. In the aftermath of my mania, it was a racing thought that I had constantly racing around in my mind. It was like a NASCAR track up in there with how fast it went. But now I recognize the danger and power of those words. And more importantly, I realized that those words were antithetical to the truth. The truth is, I'm 27 years old. Unless misfortune strikes me, my life is not even close to over yet. I have plenty of time left to achieve my goals, to capitalize on my ambitions and become successful, as success means to me. Not success on other people's terms, but in terms of what it means to me. Being healthy spiritually, being safe financially, being in control of myself mentally, being in shape physically. And these are all realistic, smart, attainable goals that I've devised a plan to achieve. A big component of that is simply returning to college. I have been a straight A student plenty of times in my past, and it's my intention to be a straight A student again. I'll be taking 15 credits, so it's a full-time course load. You only need 12 credits to be considered full-time. And I'm going to be assiduously focused on my academics. I'm going to be designating all of my focus and attention on thriving academically because I want this semester to be one of my best semesters yet. I want this to be the bounce back. I want it to set the stage for the comeback of Tyler Adolfo in the world of academics. And then after that first successful semester, after monitoring my health and having a semester of balance, then and only then will I make the decision as to whether or not I want to get involved in extracurriculars again. Make the decision of whether or not I want to work a job while I'm also in school. Because I don't want to overwhelm myself. I want to make sure that I'm healthy. I want to make sure that I remain stable. I want to make sure that I'm forward thinking, but that I'm not overwhelming myself with stressors in life that could possibly trigger a manic episode or induce psychosis. That would be the worst case scenario. And it is a possibility. It's a very real possibility that will exist for the rest of my life simply because of the diagnosis that I have. But it's not a guarantee. It doesn't have to be a guarantee. I'm taking my medications every single day. Proud of that. Even though I don't like the weight gain symptom and increased appetite symptom, overall, it's a net positive in my life because I've regained control of my central command center. I'm in command of my faculties, my intellectual faculties. And there's really no limit on what I can achieve now. So I'm making this video because I just want to let you know that even though I may not express it in my facial expressions, I've never been that much of an expressive person when it comes to facial expressions, but I am happy. I am in fact looking forward to the schedule that I've set for myself. Again, I'm just so excited and eager to get started. Once the school year starts, I'll also have plenty of content talking about what's going on in school to keep y'all updated, hopefully motivate others. Maybe some people could resonate with my return to school after being away for such significant periods of time, whether they're in high school, college, whatever it may be. I think it's something that some people will find relatable. And it doesn't even have to be in the school sense. It could also be applicable to the workforce or taking on a new hobby. So my goal with this channel is to continue to inform, to continue to share my lived experiences openly and honestly in the hopes of inspiring, motivating, and resonating with others and letting other people know that they're not alone in this world. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Whether you watch some of my videos, whether you're here for every video, it means a great deal. And I'm not stopping anytime soon. I'm going to keep working on growing the channel, expanding the audience so that we can reach more people with the positive message that I'm trying to deliver. Never surrender hope, y'all. My name is Tyler Adolfo. Love, light, and tranquility to all. Please like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you are new to keep in tune with the rest of my content. Peace.